we should be good to go, I guess. All right. Okay. Sound check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Man, that resolution is really bad. How do I fix that? Flat brain? Who's got a flat brain? You talking about me? Better not be talking about me. I mean, I'm not going to do anything about it, but you better not be. Yeah, why does that look so bad? Well, whatever. Can't do anything about it. Let's see. No guests yet. I'm monkeying with some settings here. There should be. Why is my webcam not picking up any audio? Should. I guess I can just do this. There we go. All right, works for me. Love you, Big Papa. Well, thank you. The necessary butthole worm told me to come here and comment. That is what they do. That is part of their necessary essence. Yes. All hail to the necessary butthole worms. If you don't know what I'm talking about, then you need to be subscribed to my other YouTube channel. What galaxy brains will we meet tonight? Well, I don't know about galaxy. Maybe the word salad alphabet soup guy will come back. He was either the smartest human being on the planet or just a giant douche who memorized a bunch of words. Oh, Sal, yeah. Yeah, the whole opening, yeah, it was pretty weak. It was pretty weak. Oh, I got to get rid of that banner for you guys on YouTube because we're not doing that. Yeah, let's move that over. What do we got? What do we got over here on TikTok? What's your favorite fiction literature? I don't read any fiction. I didn't read anything or almost I read almost nothing that was like required in school because I just didn't like reading. Pretty embarrassed about it. At the time, thought it was so cool. But today I'm like, wow, yeah. Just choosing not to read, huh? It's pretty cool of you. Why is common sense so rare these days? Because there's far more social currency in conforming and it's weaving a narrative about how the other group of people is bad. And so you don't have to tell the truth in order to do either of those things. Level Devil. I don't remember if Level Devil is a flat earther or if they're not. I can't remember. What caused the Big Bang? Nobody knows. Maybe it's uncaused. Guest box is open, right? Should be. I don't think there's anything else I can do. What do I think about differential geometry? At no point in my life have I ever thought about differential geometry, and I'm going to keep it that way. He's not a flirt. I didn't think so, but can never be totally sure. Sorry, Eric. I don't have that kind of brain. They don't want the smoke today. That's very possible. We do have quite a lot of downtime in these streams. I only have 69 nice people watching. Now there's 70. Somebody leave. One of you leave. Hello from South Africa. Well, hello, Lizanne. I'm going to say Lizanne. Damn it, another person joined. A third person joined. Whatever. Well, in that case, then I want 97 more people to join. Let's talk about the flat Earth model. I don't see you guest requesting. Why do people still use a God of the Gaps argument? Because it's just what's weird about arguments is we don't think of them as confirmation bias. Typically, confirmation bias involves some sort of empirical investigation, or that's how we think about it, at least. But no, I think we should start I think it's fair to start calling the arguments confirmation bias because there's nothing rigorous to them. The argument proves nothing other than itself for the most part. So I think calling them confirmation bias is fine because I think that's the best answer to why the heck are people gravitating toward these really fallacious arguments? Because they're hearing what they want to hear. Yeah, Sal was he was very nice, and I'm curious. I haven't looked at the comments for the video very much, but I was kind of suspecting that people were going to be like, Peterson, you did horribly because you weren't like pressing him and making him shut up with his rambling. But he was he was being polite. I was kind of happy to let him ramble to A, tell on himself that he has nothing to contribute, but B, just to sort of prevent the whole thing from devolving into whatever that is. Big Bang is evidence of God, LOL. That is funny, like in the sense that it's not true. Not only is it not true, but it never could be true. Okay, I remember Tristan, but I don't remember if Tristan is ops. Hello?
I'm your worst enemy.
No.
Just kidding.
Not that guy. I hate that guy.
I wanted to ask you a quick question, and then I'll jump out of here. Do you think, I'm not going to ask the question, have you ever lost a debate, but have you lost a debate where you like went away from the discourse like, wow, that person just demolished me?
No, not exactly. There've been some I've not really in debates. There are videos I've made where I ended up finding out, oh, I got that completely wrong, or like some part of it completely wrong. That's happened before. I've gotten called out by friendlies and people like against me on that before. So that's happened. But with debates, no, there have been a couple times where the debate didn't really there's this one, and it's on my YouTube channel. It's called My Worst Performance Ever. And actually I can think of two of them. One's that, and the other is called Miracles and Probability. One was this argument about Fodor's conjecture, or not conjecture, like his philosophical rejection of natural selection. And I actually think that I did a good job in that debate. It's just that the dude I was talking to knew so much like esoteric language that he would just interrupt. He would say, well, evolution can't, or natural selection can't do blank. And I would be explaining, well, it actually does do that. It can account for that because we have this free rider problem and gene linkage. And then every time I would start a sentence, the guy would interrupt and be like, okay, so are you talking about intentionality or extensionality or blah, blah, blah? I was like, I don't know what you mean by that, but you told me it can't do it. And he just kept interrupting to do that. And I was like, no, I don't really get the terms you're using. I don't know how to explain it to you in those terms, but I can tell you what you're telling me it's incapable of doing. And there were people after that, they're like, you got destroyed. I was like, I don't really think so. In the sense that, in the sense that I was a little bit dumbstruck in how to in how to tell the guy what he wanted to hear. Yeah, but then I'll be really quick because I have been rambling. But the miracles and probability one, the guy was just completely bastardizing Bayesian reasoning to try to make his point. And I didn't really like in real time. It's really hard to track. Like, so you're saying you're arbitrarily assigning the miracle a probability of 0.6. Where did that number come from? Oh, well, it comes from this other way of thinking about it and doing it. And I was like, I was trying to be polite to the dude because we had a really nasty back and forth through like comments and stuff. But then he came up and we agreed to just talk about it. So I was just being way too nice. So yeah, that one was that one was bad because I wasn't aggressive enough and I just didn't 100% know how to call out the bullshit. But I was also trying to like, whoa, okay, let me not say something that's going to make me look bad, but I really should have. Anyways.
Yeah, that's fair. I think in the first example you gave, I experience that sometimes myself too. Like I'll be talking to someone and instead of like addressing maybe the content at hand, they'll just say out loud the title that it's talking about. Right. And I'll be like, well, I don't know the title. Just say what you mean rather than just being like, oh, this is esoteranera photosynthesism. I'm like, yeah. Okay, can you please elaborate? So that was the only example I thought of. But yeah, anyways, all right, let me go find some ops for me. Have a good day.
Yeah. Another one real quick is yesterday. This guy, he didn't destroy me. He just came up. Maybe you were watching the live stream yesterday. Maybe you weren't. I think he might have been. He might have been the first guest I talked to. It'll get uploaded to YouTube sometime this week. I don't know what day. I already know what I'm going to call it. The title of the video is "If Word Salad and Alphabet Soup Had a Kid." That's going to be that's going to be the title of the video. He kept saying, "So do you have an atemporal non-contingent?" But he would use like 10 words like that in a row. Like, do you have an accounting for that? I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. Oh, yeah. And he was so good at gaslighting and just using those words. But so, but everybody could tell he was just being a total douchebag. So, like,
okay. Anyways, well, hey, good to talk to you.
Oh yeah, no problem.
Have a good day.
You too. There is no sound without a receiver. So if a tree falls in the forest, it doesn't make a sound. I don't think that's what anybody thinks sound is.
Yeah, hello?
Yes, hello.
I was going to ask, a lot of young Earth creationists like to, they don't really cite any sources. I was wondering what sources they attempt to cite, because despite the evidence, they argue a point that's kind of been debunked multiple times now. So, like, what do they cite?
Well, they do a lot of different things. They often misquote genuine scientists. That does happen. They do have some people in their camp, and they'll say like so and so has a PhD, but it turns out they have a PhD in like theology or ministry studies, whatever that is. Or like they'll have a PhD in some like it could be some sort of scientific field like geology or I guess that one, I mean, if you're a young earth creationist, geology would kind of be where you would go to debunk it, I suppose. But it's very often in unrelated fields. I'm actually debating a guy in April who has, I don't know if I'm going to bring it up during the debate. I feel like he should. He got a PhD from this school that's a total diploma mill. One guy there, because the school got shut down actually, and I was looking into some of the PhDs that were awarded to people that ended up getting the school shut down. This one guy got 2 different PhDs in a span of like 6 months, and they were in like not even remotely related fields. I think one had to do with music. One was music and the other was something else entirely. And so they do that. There are some guys that are scientists that work for like the Discovery Institute. Michael Behe is one of them. John Sanford is one of them. And then there are other people like Stephen Meyer. He has a PhD, but it's in, I think his is in theology or maybe it's just in religion. I don't know. And so like, he's not, I think he may have a master's degree in science. You know what? He might actually have a PhD in the philosophy of science. I think that's actually what his PhD is in. Let me see if I can look that up.
It's really confusing because when I join these atheistic or like science-based lives, people for some reason seem very convinced by this kind of like primitive idea. It's like I feel like the science that claimed this was like centuries old at this point. So I don't know why people still cling to this outdated idea. I feel like someone's pushing this, like some group of people are trying to.
You mean young Earth creationism? You think that's getting pushed?
I feel like
oh
it's
yeah,
being pushed.
yeah, yeah. It's huge. They're not content privately holding their beliefs. They think everybody else needs to believe them. And part of that's probably because a lot of them think the world is going to end soon. So according to them, they're saving lives. How much of it is just to make money? I don't know. But yeah.
Yeah, I guess that was my main question I wanted to ask, but that's pretty much it.
Okay, no worries.
All right, man.
Thanks for asking.
All right, see you.
Oh, Glorious Gouda, thank you for the heart that you sent a little bit ago. Sorry. I don't like it when people interrupt their streams to do that when when a guest is talking or when they're talking to a guest. I find that to be a little annoying. But thank you. And Atlas sent me a heart. Thank you for that too. How's it going? I don't know. It's going fine. Not I just don't have anybody to talk to. Do I have an audio version of your book coming out? I don't know. I would have to make it. Which would be cool, but it's a lot of work. And this, I mean, it would sound okay on this. If it's just, I mean, I'm nobody. So, you know, me just recording it on my Blue Yeti microphone and selling it in my store, I guess would be fine, but it's a huge amount of work. You'd think that would be easy to do. It's not. It's really not. How's it feel to know an inspiring philosophy dog walked you? Well, he didn't do that. He lied about tons of stuff. And then what's really funny is the couple of details I got wrong in that narrative, he holds the exact same false belief. And maybe he's been corrected. I don't know. Because we both were saying that Galileo had permission to talk about heliocentrism in hypothetical terms, but that's actually not true at all. There are different people that disagree about that, but it's really not ambiguous based on the information we have. It says you were given a complete injunction. So yeah, you lied about him lying. I really didn't. Oh, why do I care about what some guy thinks? Ask Dr. Science? I have no idea what the hell Ask Dr. Science is. I've never heard of that before. How is a duo debate with Dr. Blitz? I don't know what you mean by that. I don't really like duo debates. He does the podcast thing on Sundays. I saw him earlier. Now Blitz and I don't really keep in touch hardly anymore. I don't really keep in touch with anybody from TikTok, actually. Kind of sad, but I mean, I'd have no problem with it. Geez, some guy. I don't know who hurt you, but if it was me, I'll tell you right now, I'm not sorry.
Yo.
What up, Smuguggamin?
Hey, so can we talk about the first point you got there?
Yeah.
I'm wondering, do y'all globe earthers have a model for how the Earth can retain its water depth? Where do you go?
I'm right here. I just had to start the recording. You're asking if we have a model for how Earth keeps its water down? Is that what you said?
It's depth because it has no container.
How we keep water what? Depth? Okay. Why would it have to have a container?
Well, that's the only logical explanation to how the water can have its depth on Earth.
It's contained by the continental shelf and the atmosphere.
But do you have a model to prove that?
Yes, it's called the globe.
You can't prove the globe with the globe.
You can use the globe to make predictions and then demonstrate beyond a shadow of a doubt that it does accurately represent reality. So there you go.
According to the method, you're gonna need a model for that. So
Yeah, it's called the globe, and the globe successfully makes predictions, and the flat Earth has never ever made one prediction ever.
Yes,
You guys tried. Remember when you shone the light, and then you're like, if it's flat, we'll be able to see it. And then they're like, oh, we can't see the light. And then they said, raise it up to account for curvature. And then they raised it up, and then they could see the light. And then they went, huh. And then the documentary ended right then and there. Remember that?
Ignoring the flat Earth model, and you just give me an explanation for that using the scientific method. Because if you can't, then your theory is false. Your hypothesis is false.
It's literally not false if I can't give an accounting for it. Gravity, there was no theory behind the universal gravitation that Einstein revealed, but it successfully made countless predictions nonetheless. So it is an accurate description of reality, even if some underlying part of it was hidden. It still was an accurate representation of reality. So you want to know why does the water on Earth sit there? So it's contained inside the continental shelves, and air pressure keeps it down, and gravity makes things fall to the ground.
But where's your model? Recreate a model.
What does that even mean?
Show me that on a model that can happen. That's just how it works.
Go outside.
You can't use the thing you're theorizing about to prove your theory.
You absolutely can, because we have models that are descriptions of the Earth, and then you go out into the real world and you test those descriptions on the planet, and then that's how you can confirm it. So, for example, on a globe, if you're in the southern hemisphere, if you have two people in the southern hemisphere and they go south, they get closer together on a globe. Yes or no?
No.
Okay, so you're just an idiot. So you realize that according to the globe, there's a South Pole, right?
According to the globe, yes.
Okay, so that would mean that as you travel south in the southern hemisphere, all paths south lead to a South Pole. Are you with me so far?
Globe model, yes.
Yep. So that would mean as two people travel south, they get closer together in the southern hemisphere. Are you with me so far?
Sure.
Okay. Now on a flat earth, no matter where you are, if you travel south, you diverge from the other person. Are you with me so far? Okay. The fact is that in the southern hemisphere, if you go south, you get closer together. You can take a look at cities that are, you can create a grid, two cities at the same latitude, and then two cities that are at a different latitude, but the same with respect to each other, and on the same line of longitude. And the ones farther south are closer together. Globe confirmed.
The thing is, you still haven't answered my question about having.
I literally just did. You
Where-
take a
what-
globe model and you make that
Example.
specific predictions, then you go outside and the prediction comes true. We know what would happen if the earth was flat. They'd be farther apart. They don't get farther apart. Your model is falsified.
Show me a small scale model. Of
It's called a globe.
The Earth is not the small. You can't use a globe to prove the globe.
So what you do is you take a globe, which is a model, and then you use it to make predictions about the real world out there, and then those real world predictions come true. It's been done countless times before.
Give me a physical small scale model that the scientific method needs in order to make something a theory.
Could you try putting that in the form of a sentence, sweetie?
Give me a small scale model of the Earth containing its water with your quote unquote atmosphere as a container. So the scientific method can be used to prove that yes, that's how the atmosphere holds the water and blah 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 blah.
Sure, put water in a vacuum and watch it evaporate. There, you can prove that water pressure is necessary to keep water in a liquid state here on Earth. That was easy. What else do you got?
So wouldn't the water on Earth evaporate because we're in a vacuum currently?
We aren't in a vacuum. There's atmospheric pressure around us. Go like this. You feel that? That's the atmosphere.
I see, I see. Hey, I'm just fucking with you, bro. I just came out of arguing with flat Earth debaters, and I got cooked by that question.
Yeah. Oh, you're welcome. Do 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 do. What the heck? What is this? All right. What a waste of time. No, I mean, well, I mean, yes, but it's the exact same thing that the real ones say. So the fact that they're indistinguishable from the real thing really just says so much more about the real thing. I wish your debates were on Spotify. They are. I upload like every video almost every video on my main channel to Spotify, unless I know that the video that it won't make any sense unless you can watch it. Then I upload them. Yeah. So
What's up, man?
what's up?
Hey, man. I'm not here to debate you because I'm basically on your side. I agree with almost everything you say. I'm a former Muslim. I was born into a Muslim family, just like probably more than 50% of Muslims worldwide. And most of the Muslim arguments that my parents or other Muslims tell me are easily disprovable. But one set of, I don't know what to call it, facts are always on my mind. Do you know about the, like, there are the word, I don't know, iron is said 200 and I don't know many times in the book, and that actually correlates with the actual like existence in the real world, or I don't know, day is
I
said
remember,
365
yeah, day and
times.
night happen at a 50-50 interval in the book. I've heard that one
Exactly.
before. Yeah, there was another one with the number of times something is said is proportional to the number of times something else is
Exactly,
said,
and
and it's like it's so stupid.
People say like they didn't have the technology back then to know how would they accurately describe these things in the book 2,500 years ago, and just scientists now find out that it's true. Like, do you have an answer to that? Because I don't know. I mean, there are probably billions of religions that have been created over the course of humanity, and I just explained to myself that, wow, there was one religion that got like 5 of these things right.
I don't really look into them very much. What I typically do is whenever somebody brings this up, it's pretty rare, but I just have them read it to me, and it always ends up being this obscure poetry that doesn't say anything in particular. Like it says it predicted the Big Bang, and what it says is we are surely creating the earth and we are greatly expanding it. It says something like that. It's like,
And
yeah,
they interpret
that's
that.
yeah. There's this really, if you go on YouTube, there's like a modern day debate about it, I believe. Scientific facts in the Quran. I can't remember any of them except for one. There's like this passage that says something about ants talk. And then we learned that ants communicate through pheromones. And they're like, oh my God, they got it right. And it's like,
exactly what I mean.
no,
Exactly
because
what I mean.
ants don't talk. It's like, but they wrote it and it still predicted. It's like, why didn't it say pheromones then? Well, because they didn't know what pheromones were. Oh, so they didn't know this thing that you're claiming it says then.
Yeah, I think a lot of the times with these arguments, when something is written in the Quran, all these holy books are about interpreting, right? As soon as someone interprets anything in the Quran in a slightly negative way, Muslim people come up and say, "No, you interpreted these things wrong, and no, you have to interpret it that way and that way." But when they just come up with something so ridiculous in their own interpretation, it has to be right. In that case, it has to be right. But when it's against them, no, it's I don't know, translated wrong, or no, you didn't read it right, or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I was just, yeah, that's the only thing that kind of comes up in my mind for pro-Muslim arguments, because, like I said, I was born in a Muslim family. I was Muslim until I got into puberty and developed my own conscious mind and wasn't in this forced forced field of belief.
Where'd you grow up?
I grew up in Germany. I'm part of a Turkish immigrant family. My parents came here when the Germans needed workers to rebuild Germany, and yeah, my family stayed here. I stayed here. My sister stayed here. But yeah, I just find it so. I think annoying is the wrong word, but I think religion is not about belief anymore. It's just like you're born into a faith and you have to stick to that faith for your entire life. And if you I ask questions about it, you're a sinner now. But then they tell you, no, you have to ask questions about the religion, but only the questions that like don't indicate something is wrong with the book or anything. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, yeah, that was cool. Hearing it
Yeah,
straight
that
from the horse's mouth or whatever.
Yeah, that was the only question I was wanting to ask.
Okay, have a good one.
Have a nice day.
Oh, I forgot to tell him. I had a guy from Turkey on the live stream yesterday, and there was a gunshot. And then he's like, well, I better go. Hopefully that dude's okay. Kitty Cat is the one true prophet of Spanky. And I and my fellow true believers rebuke all other false interpretations. And we are the Planet Peterson. I'm not going to say that. The PPPP. Oh, that's great. Grayson. Hello.
Yeah, it's Grayson.
Oh, my bad.
No, you're fine. You're fine. I just know about the new Noah's Ark evidence, my boy, Planet Peterson.
Jeez.
Yeah, dude, it debunks everything. You can't even can't go against it, dude. Not bad.
You know, talking about that almond shaped geologic formation in Turkey, are you?
Well, yes, but the new evidence that just came out 3 days ago.
New evidence 3 days ago, huh? That
Yeah.
proves it's what? A big dumb old rock?
No, not with the rock itself, but it proves that Mount Ararat was under a flood 3,500 to 4,500 years ago. The mountain that the actual formation's on, because they found sea life and mollusks and different types of things up there. They dated it, and it came back to 4,500 years ago.
Scientists in Turkey have uncovered new evidence of a mysterious boat-shaped formation. It's not new evidence. This thing has been around forever.
No,
and it looks like the general surroundings.
Wait, no. So it's the new stuff. Yeah, there's old stuff. Yeah, from 2010. It's the new evidence. They took samples from all around this area.
Oh man.
Great Planet. The question still stands: how was seawater on that mountain just 5,000 years ago? Because you would agree that the Earth wasn't covered in water that long ago.
Well, 5,000 years ago. Sea levels weren't very high that long ago. No. But I mean, if they found mollusk remains, that could literally just be from people that I don't know how close to the sea this is, but that could just be literally from people eating shellfish. Well, mollusks aren't shellfish, but
they also found like clay deposits. There's other things they found that are consistent with it being underwater. And all the dating of that is. Are you reading the article? Do you have it up or no?
I have it up. I'm not really. I wouldn't say I'm reading it. I'm skimming through. They bolded a lot of the. Oh, it's really short. Okay.
Well, there's a couple different ones. There's one in New York Post. That one. There's a couple on Daily Mail. I would disregard. MSN they have one on. But the key here is that the soil samples, they're all consistent with a flood happening, or not if it's not a flood. That Mount Ararat, which is 17,000 feet tall, it was underwater up there.
But this,
Yeah,
or never mind. I was gonna say something, but I forgot what it was.
I think it's pretty good evidence, man. I mean, I'm not saying for Noah's Ark. I'm saying it's good evidence that there was some sort of flood.
Oh yeah, there have been floods everywhere. so
Yeah, not like a
multiple
worldwide flood, 'cause, I
times.
mean, if the water level was 17,000 feet high, I would cover almost everything except for some mountains.
Yeah, I don't know how tall. I don't know how high up this particular. It's not 17,000 feet. Good
The
lord.
mountain is 17,000 feet tall.
Where this formation is,
Yes. Right here. Hold on just a minute.
I really doubt that. That's extremely high. 17,000 feet.
Sorry, 16,945 feet high is where the formation's at.
That is.
You know what I'm saying? That's why it's kind of weird, dude, because the water, it's showing that the water level was that high just 3,500 to 4,500 years ago. This is consistent with the biblical story.
That's the sea levels were absolutely not that high. What is this specific formation called?
It's called a door form something, the door formor formation or something. I don't know how to say the word. It's a
I promise you this formation is not that high above sea level. That's over half the height of Mount Everest. That's
wait. I'm sorry. I'm just reading how tall this formation is on top of Mount Ararat. Mount Ararat is 16,945 feet at the tip.
Okay, that mountain at the tip is, but this structure is not.
It is. I don't think it's at the tip, so we can take some off that. I believe it's like right up there. It's climbing up it. But again, but it is consistent with the story because the story does say that the boat landed on Mount Ararat. It came to rest on Mount Ararat, and then it also says that the boat was 37 cubits long, which is the exact measurement of how long it is. That's all the evidence we had for so long until this new evidence. And I just think it's hard to dispute it because if we're showing marine life and samples that are showing that this was underwater 4,500 years ago, I just don't know how it would go against. I mean, there had to have been a flood that covered everything.
No, not necessarily everything.
Well, not everything, but some mountains
could literally just be a local. I can't find the damn name of this thing.
Let me see. Hold on. It's called the Dorformor Formation. Hold on.
Well, that doesn't help me at all. Oh, there. I just found it. Duripinar. Something like that.
Yeah. Duripinar Formation. I don't know. Something like that. How do mountains form? They start off really low and they obviously peak up. But they don't peak over just 5,000 years. They wouldn't be able to do that.
Wow, there's a Noah's Ark Visitor Center there, huh?
Just stop, bro.
Where
I know there's a visitor center, but
yeah,
they
how the hell is it? I pulled up Google Maps, but I don't see the.
Let me see if I can pull this up really quickly.
I don't see it anywhere. What's the base level?
Yeah, 1 second.
For the terrain. 1,800. So the base level is 1,800 meters.
Okay.
And the mountains around it go up to 2,430. So yeah, we're not getting to 17,000 here.
Oh, I just Googled how high Mount Ararat was. I'm not quite sure the exact location of the formation and what its height is.
Ark. Oh, that must be it. Oh, that is it. Wow. It doesn't look like much on Google Maps at all. So it is at. Why is it so blurry? It's a little bit. Is that more or less? It's a little bit less than 2,000 meters above sea level.
Okay, so a meter.
So that's. Yeah, so since it's a little more than that, so it's right around exactly 6,000 feet above sea level.
6,000 feet. Okay, so I don't know. I just know. So it's 6,000 feet above sea level. So like you would know more than this than me. Is there anything that's consistent with 6,000 feet above sea level? That would still cover most land except for mountains, right?
6,000.
That should cover
Yeah.
all
Yeah,
all
it'd be-
except for mountains.
Uh,
Well, some
yeah.
mountains.
But again, like floods happen up in mountain valleys because there can be you get what are called like breakwater dams, for example,
Right.
where water can be piled up behind ice and then it can break and then it floods the area. So we see massive flood deposits way up high in the mountains. That doesn't prove that sea levels went up to that point. It proves that in that area there was a flood.
Right. I mean, that's why I'm waiting to see more information in terms of the mollusks and sea life. If it was sea life, or if it was, because what you're describing wouldn't be sea life. That could be like fresh water, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, people that live here could eat shellfish and then deposit. Wow, you can actually get a drone.
Oh, so what you're saying is you're like
Area.
like people are up there like having like corn dogs, a couple lobster rolls, maybe like some mollusks, and they just like threw it on the ground.
Something like that, yeah.
Okay. I mean, yeah, it's obviously a possibility. I don't know. I just wanted to throw it out there, see what you thought about it, but I don't know, man. If it does end up being confirmed with more information, then it's like let's say that there was some way to show that it's actual ocean water. It was a full like, and it wasn't just like, you know, what you're describing. Well, then it would show that would confirm that maybe there was a flood that covered almost everything 5,000 years ago.
I don't know how you would determine that it's specifically a saltwater flood. I mean, presumably there would be like salt deposits there. Would be like one of the possibilities, I guess. But
Right. I don't know. That's all I want to say. I'm trying to see what else you have up here. Big Bang is true. Evolution is true. Variation. So I don't know about evolution, man. We don't have any of those intermediate species, dude.
we have thousands of them.
Wait. So we got some, dude, but we don't have that. What is the one that called where it's like I would need something to show like the what is that? What are the last three called? You have we're Homo sapiens, and you have the Homo rabians before us, or whatever those ones were, and then you have I'm trying to think. There's a certain one that's missing, but we should have fossils for every single intermediate species, right? In theory,
How many intermediate species are there?
like 7, right?
The 7's the magic number. We have
I know. I mean,
we know of so many human ancestors. The missing link was literally just supposed to be one thing. You really only need one. And then we found it, and then they just either say it's not what people say it is, or they say, yeah, but you haven't found the missing link between that one and between us and the missing link you found. Which is absurd because now every single time you find a missing link, it means there are 2 additional missing links. The one before the missing link and then the one between us and the missing link. So it is the perpetual goalpost shift.
I mean, I guess so. I guess it's one of those things where like, what is it? I'm not too well versed in this. So you have like punctuated equilibrium, right?
That's really got almost nothing to do with what we're talking about.
Well, so there's 2 different forms of the evolution. So, but if punctuated equilibrium is like, what is it? Rapid evolution followed by stasis. So like we should like have.
Yeah, but
I don't know what I'm even talking about, dude. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Well, you're describing it correctly, but it's not a different kind of evolution.
Okay, that isn't a different kind. I thought it was like that, and there was like, what was the other one? Gradualism, whatever that's called.
Yes. I mean, punctuated equilibrium is, in a way, a kind of gradualism.
Yeah.
Man, what book is that? The Blind Watchmaker by Richard Dawkins. He goes into that in quite a lot of detail, but
Okay.
no, punctuated equilibrium is caused by natural selection, just like gradualism is caused by or whatever. I got another person that's
All right,
waiting.
So then last thing I wanted to say about the Earth. I think the Earth could be flat, but we can have this conversation later. But there's a chance it could be, dude. I have evidence.
So you're saying there's a chance?
Well, here it is. The longest bridge in the world. I'll let you bring the other person up, but we'll finish this conversation later, all right, man?
All right, man. Oh, geez. Real quick here. Sorry, HOTR. Get to you in a second, but the debate went Pretty well. Lumi, Sal was really chill, and he really actually pretty much from the get-go said intelligent design isn't science, and so he can't give anybody a reason to believe it, which was really weird. I didn't see this super chat from Tim earlier. Sorry about that. G-Man, born of a no relationship woman, no dad, even no chromosome. Oh yeah, Jesus. Yeah, Jesus. No X chromosome. Therefore, Jesus was a chick. Anyways, what's up?
I just wanted you to explain to me why creationism is dumb.
Oh, it's dumb I think in the exact same way that saying the Earth is flat is dumb. We just know that the Earth is not 5,000 years old. That man and dinosaur didn't walk
But
together.
that doesn't mean it wasn't created, though.
Yeah, creationism means young Earth creationism.
No. That's young Earth creationism.
Yeah, I know.
There are many other takes on creation. I mean, it's logical that every effect has a cause, which is why it's confusing to me that you would say creationism is dumb. I see an effect. I would assume there's a cause. That seems rational to me. That doesn't seem dumb at all. As a matter of fact, the opposite seems dumb to me, that you look and you see an effect and you say, oh, there was no cause.
Well, God apparently has no cause.
Okay, well, not God, right? God is transcendent. So my point is, why is that dumb? I can understand you say, hey, look, I don't understand this concept, or I disagree with this concept, but to say it's dumb is bizarre to me, because it seems logical to me that A to B with logic in the middle is what's happening. There's an effect. I assume there's a cause, because that's the reality I live in.
Yes, the two things. One, this specifically means young Earth creationism, but I'm pressed for space, so I just say creationism. And it saying everything has a cause, that makes logical sense. It does, but at the end of the day, you just have to do special pleading and say, well, that's why I believe that something that doesn't have a cause caused all the other things. We can just say the universe is causeless, and there we go. We at least know that a universe exists.
That would be irrational from my perspective. And God, to me, my perspective is, I sort of lean toward the information theory, that the substrate of reality is information, and that God is the global operator descriptor, or generative principle, and is the source. We could say it that way. So to me, it's just bizarre to say, and I understand now that you're combating a particular sectarian belief, right? You're saying, look, I don't believe that these people that think the Earth is 5,000 years old are correct. Okay, that makes more sense, but to just creationism is dumb seems bizarre to me. And then, of course, that would lead into no evidence for God. That depends on how you define God. I would say that evidence, which is the effect, or we can say it this way: if there's a creation, then logically there would be one who created it, right? That's just logical. The creator would precede the creation, and so the creation itself would be the evidence for the creator. It's philosophically it's sound and valid argument.
Well, not really, because you're begging the question. You're saying that it is created, therefore it has a creator.
Well, the evidence would the fact that it exists, right? And we don't see anything that exists in our day-to-day lives, right? You would never look at it. You would never come across anything and say there's no source for that, right? When you see a car, you see a rock, you assume that there was some process that created it, correct?
Yeah, but the universe as a whole, I don't see any evidence,
right,
because we've actually never seen anything be created. We see things
you don't find that as an odd leap of faith to say everything that I experience in the mundane tends to work in this process. There's something that causes it. But in general, all things came through a no process whatsoever. You don't find that to be a bizarre reversal of what you see in your day-to-day life?
No, I have no problem. How do I say this? Things happen in the universe, but the idea that there's something other than the universe, that's a massive leap to me. Why a universe can't just exist? I don't understand why
Well,
that's a
you've got Big
problem.
Bang. You've got Big Bang is true, right? That was a
Yep.
process with the beginning.
Well, when you
Was-
say
there
when
was
you
a
say in
sequence,
the
correct?
beginning, yes. If we go backwards in time from the beginning, that doesn't mean, first of all, maybe there is no such thing as that. But second of all, that wouldn't mean that before that there was nothing.
It wouldn't preclude it either. But the Big Bang itself is a process that began, and it's theorized that time itself began at the Big Bang, right?
Time as we understand it, yeah, but the universe could have existed in a timeless state before that.
Well, it's possible, right? Anything's
Yeah.
possible. But to say that it's illogical or dumb to disregard everything that you experience in objective reality today, which is linear, entropy exists, right? We see uniformity in nature. We see all of these systems that
Yeah.
tell us, hey, A leads to B logically. But when we look at the macro, we say, but that doesn't apply on the macro. It only applies in the micro. That's a bizarre reversal of what we see in day-to-day life from my perspective. And I could be strange, the type of person that just likes logic. But to reverse that on the macro seems arbitrary to me.
It
Certainly doesn't seem dumb.
Again, well, okay, I never said that those ideas are dumb, but again, in order to invoke a supernatural creator, you have to be illogical because you have
Right.
to, because it's special pleading no matter what. And
What are you pleading? What are you using as your axiomatic foundation for something from nothing?
I don't think that nothing can ever produce something.
Okay, then that thing that precedes the creation, that thing would be by definition the cause, right? Which it would be by definition God, right?
If the thing that causes the universe is by definition God, then an alien race that's simulating the universe all of a sudden
Would be
is
God.
God.
Right,
Well,
right. We could
well,
describe
no,
it in any sense we wanted. Yeah.
Well,
The generative principle is
yes,
what
but
I mean. By
yes,
that.
but no, because God is supernatural, and these aliens.
There's
wouldn't
nothing
be.
that exists that's supernatural, right? That's an oxymoron. If it exists in nature, it is by definition natural.
Yeah, I know. I'm talking
and
about.
hence, if it exists at all, it is existing in the manifold of creation, in the syntactic manifold. It's existing within that, so it would be natural. Nothing violates the laws of nature.
Nothing violates the laws of nature. I mean, you can say that, but doesn't God have to violate the laws of nature to create the universe?
I don't think so at all. I think that God defines from my perspective, I adhere to the notion that the universe is information. And there's a bunch of science on this now. Donald Hoffman, his team of scientists are laying out this stuff. Jack Savardi, the quantum physicist, he's laying this out. We see all of this now in quantum physics. The substrate of reality is information, right? And what we see are syntactic operators, attractors, all of these things that we can describe in the terms of language and information processing, right? And the source of that we call the global operator descriptor, or God, right? It's an acronym for God. But it seems to be what the science is pointing to, right? Particularly on it helps us to understand quantum physics, right? Where what we would consider conventional physics break down, right? It answers some of those questions: non-locality, spooky action at a distance, those types of things are addressed in that.
How are they addressed?
So again, I get, and I know that's kind of off in the weeds, and it's kind of nerdy area of interest. And I might not look like the type of guy in that picture right there. I also like fitness, but I just wrote a book about this. It's a fictional account that explains some of the theories underpinning this. But when I come on TikTok, a lot of times I think I just saw you debate Andrew Wilson, and
yeah,
and then you popped up in there, and I find Andrew funny. I like his style. But I saw that debate with you, and then I saw you pop up in here, and I was like, well, that's kind of odd. You didn't seem like the condescending, smug type in that. And then creationism is dumb was counterintuitive to my initial opinion of you. So
that's sorry to disappoint you. I guess I'll just I'll have to call you Dad now.
I mean, again, I don't feel any need to insult you just because you don't understand what I'm saying. That doesn't
I'm
bother
not,
me.
I'm not insulting you. That was actually an insult on me, actually.
Well, it seemed condescending. If I misinterpreted it, then my apologies.
No, what I was
But
saying is I
anyway,
disappointed you, so I'll call you Dad, because the implication is
Oh,
all I
okay,
ever
okay.
did was disappoint my dad.
disappoint your dad.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's you know, it's like I said, I just like that. Yeah, for me, I like logic and reason. I like conversations, and a lot of the atheist types that I see on TikTok are smug and condescending for no real reason. I mean, they're nowhere near as well read or bright as they think they are, and they disregard massive swaths of science that just annihilate their axiomatic presuppositions. Right? They just assume.
Can we build on that? What branches of science annihilate an atheistic
Quantum physics
worldview?
for one.
How?
Quantum physics, neuroscience. Well, I'll get to it. Neuroscience for one, and now we have an entire brand new branch of science, game theory. These types of theories are challenging what we consider
Game
to be.
theory?
Yeah, game theory. Are you familiar with Donald Hoffman at all?
It doesn't ring a
give you-
bell.
just for- next time you debate like an Andrew Wilson or something, go and read Donald Hoffman's book. I can't remember the title of it right now, but it's his newest book. He's been on a lot of podcasts recently talking about it, but he and a whole team of polymaths have been studying this problem of consciousness for about 25 years, and it's really interesting work that they've done, and I just think it's an eye opener, or it should be, for people that take seriously, trying to understand what is objective reality and what is the nature of our existence.
I don't know why you brought up game theory. Game theory is it's sort of an economics thing. That's what John Nash won a Nobel Prize for, and then they made that really great movie, A Beautiful Mind.
It's applicable across disciplines, though, right?
I suppose it could be in ways.
Right.
Can we talk about quantum mechanics, though?
Quantum mechanics. Okay, well, let's take spooky action at a distance, or non-locality, or the principle that a particle can be in superposition until it's observed, right? So this gives credence to the notion that observation has impact on quantum particles. No. Absolutely, it does. Absolutely, no, it does. Okay, no. Explain to me superposition.
Well, no, because that doesn't have to do with the claim here. A wave function collapses when a particle, like it can be a photon or an electron, whatever. The wave function collapses when it interacts with something else, not when it's observed. If you set up an experimental apparatus and you never look at the data, the wave function will be collapsed because those photons will have hit the detector anyways.
No, that's not what we're seeing at CERN. We're seeing that
CERN doesn't do that.
CERN studies superposition. Dude, do you know?
Okay, well they may do things other than just colliding the particles there. I guess
a lot of things other than that. But my point is, and this is, I'm not saying it's uncontested, but there are teams of scientists who are studying this superposition problem and spooky action at a distance, right? The whole faster than light information transfer that happens in that, right?
Oh,
so
where's Blitz?
so we can look at this, and again, I'm not a quantum physicist, but the science to it, I like to write. I write fiction, and so these are things that I study, to put in the stories that I write. They work as clever plot devices. Interesting, but it's certainly, as a person who likes philosophy, it certainly broadens your horizon philosophically. I mean, whether you're a materialist or a metaphysical, you have some sort of metaphysical underpinning for your worldview, you're going to have circular reasoning, right? Ultimately, you're going to fall back on circular reasoning. You wouldn't disagree with that, would you?
No, I think at some point you end up at circular reasoning. Yeah.
Right. So, and I'm just saying that to say, my mind is open. So I'm not going to depend solely on and say I'll never move from the position of solipsism, that I can't know anything beyond my own mind.
I'm open-minded too. People call me John F. Kennedy.
Yeah, that's good, man. That's good. And like I said, I just wanted to address the creationism, this dumb thing. I think to shut your mind down and say, you know what, I know everything. It is the ultimate, closed-mindedness, right?
Potentially, but I don't. I mean, I don't do that.
Okay, well, that's good. And listen, man, I would love to see you debate Andrew again, man. I really would.
Yeah, maybe I don't know. I don't really want to rehash the same exact thing, but so
I wouldn't blame you, but you know, not many want to debate him twice, particularly atheists, materialists. But I enjoyed it. I like seeing it.
Okay.
Yeah. Did you see the Dylan Honey debate that he did?
Well,
You
it
did
wasn't
bet-
a debate, but yeah,
you
I've
did
seen
better
I've
than
seen
that. You did better than that.
I've seen parts of it.
Yeah, at least you didn't rage quit. But that was funny to me. But anyway, man, I will say this: Andrew lied to you.
But what?
Yeah, when he was talking about, I think it was you, where he said, "Look, you know, there are other guys that are starting to use his arguments. Those aren't his arguments." Greg Bonson articulated his arguments 30 years ago, so maybe Andrew's unaware of that. But Greg Bonson and Seitzen Brugenkate have been dominating. Yeah, they've been dominating. They've been dominating materialists for 20 years. So
No, I don't agree with that at all.
really,
Yes. Side 10, I'm right because I presuppose that I'm right. And my
Well, that's what
worldview
you're
is the
doing.
only worldview that works.
But that's what
How do you
you're
know
doing,
that?
though.
I presuppose it.
well, that's what you're doing. Though.
No, I don't.
There you are. You're presupposing your senses and reasoning.
Yeah,
Well,
I'll do that. But what
That's
Side
what I
10
just
does
said.
is he
Didn't I
then
just
goes,
say-
and I also
didn't I just say
presuppose
that's what
that the
you're
reason
doing?
it works is because magic exists.
Yeah, but isn't that what I just said you're presupposing too? And you said no, I'm not. And then you say, yeah, that's what we're all doing.
No,
That's what's
no,
bizarre
because
to me, man. And I don't
no,
want to
you're
argue
not.
with you. I'll just say it's bizarre to me that you can't see that in your own argument. That's bizarre to me.
What I
It's
said
like-
was
it's a
Side
huge blind
10.
spot for
That's
materialism.
not what I did at all. I said what Side
It is
10
what you
does is he presupposes that he
And you do
is the
too.
only one that knows how to be right.
But that's what
And
you're
I
doing.
presuppose I'm right, and you can't be right because you don't have my worldview. I don't
Well, that's
do
what you're
that.
doing.
No,
Yeah,
I
you're
don't do
presupp-
that. I
you're
do
presupposing
presuppose
the
that I
validity of
do
your
have
senses and
a
You're
reliable
presupposing-
buddy. You gotta stop. I do presuppose
Well, I
that
mean,
my
you're just
senses
going
give
in a
me
circle.
reliable information, etc. But I don't say therefore theism is false. I don't do that.
Well, that's not what he's doing either, though. He's
Oh,
using
it is.
he's using logic and reasoning from his presupposition, which is what you're doing. You have a presupposition. He has a presupposition. He uses logic and reasoning to extrapolate from that axiomatic position, which is what you're doing. They're both circular, and he would say his is virtuously circular, yours is viciously circular, right? Because you have no external that you're appealing to. And all I'm saying,
There's no reason to claim that you need an external to refer
that
to.
he's honest and you're not
It's
being honest.
especially
unless
weak
you say-
because his external is magic, and we don't know that magic
there's
exists.
nothing magic about it. There's nothing magic about his presupposition.
Yes, there is. He believes that
What's
God
magic about it?
magically reveals to
define
him the
magic.
truth.
Define magic.
That which can't be explained naturally, it's the same thing as supernaturalism.
That which can't be explained naturally.
Yeah.
So because you can't explain it naturally today means it can't be explained naturally.
Then it wouldn't be God.
Again, you're presupposing some sort of omniscience that I don't understand how you justify. Because you don't. I mean, you go back 100 years,
That's
they
the-
can't tell you how a phone works.
That's a classic definition of
So
theism.
Does that mean that the phone can't work? It's magic? Come on, man. It's a
No,
huge
magic
blind
in
spot for a materialist. Yeah,
principle
materialist.
can
Yeah.
never be comprehended or
But
understood
because
using
you don't
natural
understand
law.
How God reveals doesn't mean it's not natural.
There's
right?
no
It just means you don't
justification for
understand how it
believing in it in that case.
Sure, there is the same one that you have for believing in your worldview.
No, there isn't.
Right?
My worldview
You
is
have a
recursive.
presupposition.
It produces results. The magic
does-
hypothesis doesn't.
Certainly, it does. It produces all of creation, right? And it produces
That's-
uniformity in nature.
That's begging
every
the
other
question.
law of logic
No,
that
you're
we
just
use.
begging the question.
So are you?
No, I'm not.
Yeah, you are. You're begging the justification.
I
of your
presuppose
senses
that
and
they-
reasoning. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but what we
it's the
do
same
is we
problem.
use them to make predictions about reality that
And
keep
so do we.
coming true.
And so does he.
No, he doesn't. You
Sure he
don't
does.
say.
And he can
I
justify
I
his use of
presuppose that
blasphemy.
magic exists. Now let me
He
let
doesn't
me test
presuppose
magic.
exists.
Yes, he does.
No,
He
no,
believes
doesn't.
that God
No, he
accesses the
doesn't. He
home Wi-Fi
presupposes-
and
he
airdrops the
presupposes a
knowledge
God.
to his brain.
He presupposes God is God and can reveal. There's nothing magical about that. Simply because you don't understand how God reveals doesn't mean it's magic. That's like saying
That's
this phone
that's
right here, I
literally
don't know
what
how it
God
works, but
is. God is a supernatural entity.
no, God is not a supernatural entity. God is a
Okay,
God is a,
well,
if anything, an uber-natural entity, right? He's the one that nature is derived from. I mean, you can change the definitions of the words, but they are what they are.
I am what I am. Yep.
Literally, how God refers to himself, right? Ontology personified.
Sure.
Right, being personified. That's how the Bible describes God, is ontology personified. I am that I am.
Okay. I am
There's
that I
nothing
am.
illogical
There.
about that.
Now
I
I'm
don't see
God.
where you get
And
something
I'm going
like
to tell you that
magic.
you're wrong now.
Yeah, I don't see where you get magic from that.
Because that's what a God is.
From your worldview.
From the classical theist worldview.
No, from your worldview, not from the
I
classical
didn't
theist
in-
worldview.
Yes, it is. I didn't
classical
make
theist.
this up.
I'm a classical theist. I don't believe God is magic.
Then I don't know what you are, but you're not that.
Yeah, I'm a Christian. I consider myself a Christian, right? I believe what the Bible says about God. Ontology itself, personified. I am that I am. I don't see anything magical about that. That's logical and reasonable to me. That since there is such a thing as being, then being exists, and that's what God defines himself as being itself.
Where is God?
What do you mean? Is he within creation or is he transcendent? Is that what you're asking?
It's however you want to answer the question.
Well, God is. I would say God is non-local, right? God's not a physical being. God's the substrate. God is the substrate, as defined by the Bible. God would be the substrate of all creation.
Great. What sorts of things have the property of not being made of anything?
Nothing has the property of not being made.
So
of
God
anything.
doesn't exist.
No. God has the property of being made by what's called telesis, pure will. I am that I am.
What is pure will?
Yeah, pure will. The syntax of the universe is what he's actually described as.
What is that?
That would be the word in John 1. God is the word. All
what
things were made.
What is the word?
That's the syntax, right? It's telesis.
What is the word? And don't tell me it's bird, because I know it's not
it's
that.
Pure telesis, right? It's telesis. It's will.
What is that?
It's the substrate of reality.
Okay, let's try this a different way. I believe in zip zop, okay? And zip zop is
okay. So here, okay, I explain it to you this way. Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth now?
Right? I don't know what any of these things mean, and you're not telling me. What you've given me is the equivalent of.
Okay, so you don't understand the words that I'm saying.
They don't have a meaning. It's the word. What is the word?
Okay, the word is a description of information generalized, right? So the fact that you can understand. Hold on.
Time out.
Let me finish.
Is the word a noun?
It's both a noun and a verb.
Okay, explain
it's alive.
it to me.
We would say alive. It's alive. It does.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
So
everything that's alive is composed of matter and cells.
You know this how?
What?
Oh, so you've experienced all experiences in the manifold. So you can say that all things that are right. So you can say you haven't experienced anything that's alive.
Buddy, you're giving credence to Russell's teapot. Oh, you've scoured the entire cosmos? You know that there's no teapot?
Source of information. You're asking me to accept on your authority that you know everything that's alive is material. That's what you're asking me to do.
The only thing we know about living things is that they are made of material things.
The only thing you know.
Do you know about some sort of non-physical life out there?
Yes.
What is it?
We call them spirits.
And what are those? And how do you know they exist?
Non-physical entities.
Yeah. What are? And how do you know that they exist?
Through interaction with them.
So on your authority?
Yeah, the same way that you have knowledge of physical things through your 5 physical senses, We also can have interactions with non-physical things through non-physical means, right? And just because you don't have that experience doesn't mean others don't have it. You can disregard them, but then you're asking me to accept you as some sort of authority when you're telling me that you aren't having the same experiences that others are. But you're saying that you're the authority over those people when they have experiences that
I
you
never
don't have.
claimed authority over anything.
Well, you're asking
I'm
me
just
to
telling
accept
you.
that.
I'm telling you.
Yeah, you're telling me. You're asking me to accept.
I'm
you as
telling you
authority.
what we know that other
You
people
tell me
can
what
agree
you
on.
think and know, not what I think and know.
Uh,
You say we
Again,
there's no we
so
between you
you're
and I
the
if we
authority
disagree with
about what is real, and you're the authority
No.
on
I'm the
whether or
authority
not
over
the
my own
supernatural
experience and
realm
my own
exists.
knowledge, right? I'm the expert in what I know. You're the expert in what you know, right? And we can have a conversation, but you can't tell me what I don't know, right? You can't say to me, hey,
You can't tell
never
you
seen
can't tell a schizophrenic what they don't know.
Correct.
But
Exactly,
you would
which is-
disagree that they are.
right, which is-
You would disagree
which
that the
is why
CIA
materialism
is sending
fails,
them
right? Which is why
messages.
materialism fails, right? How do I know you're not hallucinating that that your senses are valid, right?
You
I agree
absolutely
with
you
you that it's
absolutely
circular.
cannot do what you claim the materialist can't do. I promise you that.
How would you know this? You're omniscient.
Prove to me that you're not a figment of my imagination.
You prove to me that's my point. That's my point. That's the flaw in your argument, not mine.
No, it's not. Prove to me that you're not a
Yes.
figment of my imagination.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Because you
I'm
could be hallucinating.
literally
this
still
conversation.
waiting.
Yeah, I know. You're a solipsist by definition.
I'm not a solipsist. Prove to me you're not a figment of my imagination.
Your very challenge indicates that you are. You're
Buddy,
saying there's nothing.
prove to me you're not a figment of my imagination.
Prove to me I'm not God.
So please don't answer my question with questions.
Will you please don't
prove
answer
to
my
me-
question with a dumbass question? Come on, bro.
I literally am the one who asked you the question. Can
Yeah,
you
and I
prove
asked
to
you a
me that
question
you're not a
before that that you
figment
still
of
haven't
my
answered.
imagination?
I asked you a question before that you didn't want to answer.
Can you prove to me that you're not a figment of
answer
my
my question first?
imagination?
Can
You
answer my
didn't
question
ask
first?
one.
Yeah, I did. I asked it 3 times and you still haven't answered it. I said, why should I accept you as an authority? Are you omniscient? And just because
You asked
you
that
don't know-
after I asked
No, I
you.
didn't. No, I
to
didn't.
per-
I asked you
yes,
this
you
beforehand.
you
No, I
actually did.
didn't. No, I didn't. No, I didn't. Because I
Yes,
know
you
where
did.
this argument's going, right? And
So
it's
do I,
okay.
because they're a figment of my imagination.
And I'm God from your
Yeah,
perspective.
I knew you were going to
can't
say
prove
that.
I'm not God. I can't prove that I'm not a figment in your imagination. We have the same
Okay.
issue with our worldview. They're circular ultimately, which I
Okay.
conceded in the beginning.
Yeah, all I said was.
Right.
So what is it that you can do that I can't do?
Well, evidently I can have access to God that you don't have.
You're just presupposing that God exists.
No, that's not from my perspective, from your perspective. But according to my own religious work, that's exactly what the Bible says would be the case. The Bible would say that spiritual things cannot be discerned by the carnal mind. So it's implying that there's an apparatus, an information receiver that I have that you don't have.
All that proves is that somebody wrote a book.
Well, no, what that's what the Bible says. What I'm saying is I have experience. I have an actual objective experience from my perspective with God, right? I interact with this non-material agent. And
How
you're
do you
saying
know
you
that?
don't do that. You're saying you don't do that. You're denying that I do that. But I'm saying, okay, that's fine. You can deny that, but you can't tell me I don't see. You can tell me what you see, but you can't tell me what I see, right? That's my point.
So I'm not calling you mentally ill, but do you agree
Right.
that mentally ill people exist?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I'm
So
talking to
we
you, right?
so we can't tell schizophrenics that they're not wrong or that they are wrong.
You can tell them that, right?
Is it true?
You have no
Does
objective
a
way of knowing that.
schizophrenic who hears a voice in their head telling them to burn the school down, are they really hearing a voice? Or like, well, I mean, they could really be hearing a voice.
There you go.
but
That's my point.
If they make a really specific claim, like, oh, there's a lady standing right there, and it's Mary Todd Lincoln, and she's saying, "Stick a corncob pipe up your ass, sonny boy." Are you telling me that we can't say that it's false that Mary Todd Lincoln is in the room with us saying,
you're not
"Stick a
experiencing it through your
corncob pipe
five
up your ass, sonny boy"? Are you really?
All
'cause
you could
you're-
say truly Oh, listen, I'm going to answer your question. All you can truly say with your worldview is that you're not experiencing that through your five senses, which you've already agreed that you can't justify, right? You could be a brain in a vat. So you can say you're
So
not
could you.
experiencing that, but you can't say they're not experiencing that, not on your worldview.
I never claimed that they're not experiencing it. The question
There
is,
you go.
is Mary Todd Lincoln really standing there saying, shove
Well,
a
we can't know
corncob
that
pipe
from
up
your
your
worldview.
ass?
We can't know that from your worldview.
Really? Because I can't look at the corner and tell that Mary Todd Lincoln isn't
Well, you
there,
can't justify it
and
through your
a
five
million
senses,
and a million
be-
other
you
people
yourself can
couldn't come to the
All
same
1 million
conclusion, and so
all 1
we
million
we
of them
couldn't
could
have a
be
justified
brains
reason for claiming, yeah, there is no Mary Todd
Well,
Lincoln.
what define justified? Because you could all 1 million of you could be brains in a vat, right?
That's the same case for you.
Yeah, of course it is. I said it's all circular in the end.
Okay, so you have
you can't make a
you've
truth claim
produced
and justify
nothing.
it.
Yeah, okay,
And
so
neither of
you've
you.
produced
That's why
nothing.
said that-
I
that's
never
why
said that I
challenged you.
did.
When you said creationism is dumb, that's why I challenged you on that. Because you're in the same position. We're on par philosophically. We're on par. Whether you want to
Okay,
admit it or
so
not.
then what's the point of adopting your worldview? What could I do
You
if I
can't adopt
adopted
my
your
worldview. You
worldview
can't
that
adopt my
that I
worldview.
can't do?
You cannot adopt my worldview.
Because I don't have biceps like you?
Well, I mean, no, that takes work, but no, that is why you can't adopt my worldview. My worldview, one of the fundamental tenets of my worldview is that it's not a choice.
I haven't done this. It's been 30 minutes and I haven't done this, but I am muting you because I really need you to answer the question. What is it that I could do if I adopted your worldview that I can't currently do?
You cannot, according to my worldview, you can't choose to adopt my worldview. That's one of the tenets of my worldview. You can't choose to adopt.
That's not the question I'm asking. What
But you
is
asked
it
me if you
that I
chose, but you
could
can't.
do if I adopted your worldview that I can't currently do?
Well, if you were given my worldview, my worldview is a gift from God. It can't be something that you adopt. It's a gift according to the tenets of my worldview. It's a gift. I didn't choose it, and you can't choose it. So
Dude,
if
that's
you did
beyond
have
the
that,
point.
If you had that gift, if you had the gift that I've been given, then you could access God, right? That's the necessary faculty that you're missing, right? You're spiritually dead, and in order to access God, you have to be spiritually alive.
Okay, so if I accessed God, what could I then do?
You would know truth.
But you can't prove that you're not a brain in a vat, so I wouldn't know anything.
Because you're spiritually dead.
No,
I can't prove to you.
don't know that you're not a brain in a vat.
No, I can't prove it to you, but I can't convince you of it, but I can prove it. Right? Persuasion and proof.
Go ahead.
Right. I can't persuade you of it.
Go ahead.
The proof is that God reveals in such a way that we can be.
Okay, my senses reveal in such a way that I'm not there.
No, that's not. Is that what I said?
No, I told you. No, I used my worldview to prove that I'm not a brain in a vat.
Right, but that's not your worldview, though.
Yes, it is. My worldview is that I'm not a brain in a vat.
That's your worldview? That's your
Yes.
axiomatic foundation?
Yes.
How do you justify it?
It's presupposed.
Okay, so I presuppose that God can reveal to us in such a way that we can be certain.
Well, that's
the presupposition
unfortunate
that I have.
because I also
That's the
presuppose
presupposition
that
I have.
God
That's the
doesn't
presupposition
exist.
that I have, and according to my worldview,
Yeah, so you can't do anything that I can't do.
Yeah, no, I can do. I'm fixing to say what I
Anything
can do. that
you
can't
can do, I can do better.
Okay, I'm
I
gonna
can
explain it
do
to you.
anything better
I
than
don't
you.
blame you
No,
for
you
not wanting to
can't.
hear it
Yes, I
because it
can.
condemns
No, you
you.
can't. Yes, I can. No, you can.
Atheists always result.
Remember
to
those
this
Mia
because you-
Hamm and Michael Jordan
It's a foolish
commercials? I love
worldview that you
those.
have, so of course you result to foolishness, right? Of course
Buddy,
you would result to foolishness. You're
By your
foolish.
own admission, there's nothing you can do that I can't do except
You
believe
won't
that
let me
God.
tell you what it is. I'm trying to explain it to you, but you resulted to chanting like a child because you
You've
already
said
understand
multiple
that your
times
worldview is
you
foolishness.
can't prove you're not a brain in a vat, and neither can I.
That's not what I said. I said you.
Yes,
can't
you
prove
did
you're not
say
a brain
that.
in a vat. No, I didn't. No, I
Yes,
didn't. I said you
you
can't
did.
prove that you're not a brain in a vat. That's your worldview. You're
You
the
can't.
scientist,
You
not me.
can't do that either.
Yes, I can.
You can
I can't
presuppose
persuade
that
you
you're
of it.
not.
I can't persuade you of it, but I can prove it.
No, you can't prove it. You can
No, I can't.
presuppose it.
No, I can prove it.
Prove
But
it.
I can't persuade you of the truth. Only God can do that.
Go ahead and prove it.
God has revealed to me in such a way that I can be certain.
Okay, my
That I'm
senses
not a-
revealed
hold
to
on,
me
hold
that
on,
I'm
that I'm
certain
not a-
I'm
hold
not
on.
a brain in a
You didn't
vat.
let
I
me
just
finish. You didn't let me
did
finish.
what you do.
but you have no external. You're appealing to
There is
yourself.
no external. I presuppose that there isn't one.
Exactly.
I don't know what you're laughing about.
I'm laughing at the fact that you can't see the problem in that.
There is no problem in that.
Your
Any-
worldview proves my worldview.
No, it
That's a
doesn't.
beautiful thing. Yes, it does. It actually does.
Man.
Because you talk about prediction, right? You talk about predictive qualities of a worldview. My worldview predicts that people in your situation will do and say exactly what you do and say.
So does mine.
What's your worldview? You're materialist. And
No, actually,
the Bible calls people like
buddy.
fools. It's
I have a book, and literally
Right.
every single thing you've been saying was foretold. I was going to say pre-told. I don't think that's a word. I was pre-told in this book. Literally everything.
right. There's uniformity in nature because God exists, right? So that's why you can listen to what I'm saying and extrapolate.
There is
from
no
there.
God. This book does. I predicted ahead of time everything that's
Uniformity in nature,
happened here.
We could call that uniformity, those laws of logic. We could call that God.
Oh man, I can't even make jokes with you because you don't even get
Because
the
your
dialogue.
because your worldview is stupid. That's why.
Says the guy that believes in magic. Oh, sorry.
Again,
Says the guy who doesn't know he
haven't
believes
shown-
in
You haven't
magic.
shown that. You haven't demonstrated that at all.
Because you believe in God.
I don't.
So
believe
anyways,
in God.
I presuppose that I'm not a brain in a vat. I just proved it.
Okay. Do
There
you
you go.
believe that? That's true from your perspective.
I don't believe it. I know it.
Or are you abandoning your worldview because it's foolish?
This is
You
my
can't
worldview.
really defend yourself from your worldview, so you have to abandon it and take on my worldview. Yeah.
So
that's
hold
what you
on.
just did.
No, what you just
Yeah,
did
that's
is
what you just did.
no.
That's what you just did.
What you just did is you said, "Aha! I caught you. You're being dishonest." But the
Yeah.
dishonesty. So you just
Yeah.
agreed
Yeah,
that what
you have
I
to
just
abandon
did.
your worldview
Hoder,
and
shut
take on
up.
my worldview, which says
No,
that God
Hoder,
can reveal in
This
such a
is
way
what
that
you
we can
just
serve.
did.
That's what
You just said
how
that
you muted-
I'm trying to talk. You've been interrupting literally this entire time. What you just did is you said that I took a dishonest position, but then you owned yourself and said the dishonesty is that you adopted my worldview. You have a dishonest worldview.
No, the dishonesty is that you had to
The
abandon your
dishonesty
worldview
is saying
and take
I
on mine
presuppose
to make
whatever
sense
truth I
out of-
want to
out of reality.
presuppose,
To
and then
make
I
sense
claim
out of
that I know
reality,
the
you had to
truth
take on
this
my
way.
worldview. To make sense out of reality, you had to take on my worldview because your worldview is
No,
is-
you called
absurd.
my worldview dishonest, and then you
Yeah.
said what I
Of
did
course
was I
it is.
adopted.
It doesn't.
But
accord
you
with
said
truth.
I adopted your worldview.
You had to. You had no choice.
You're calling your
You have
worldview
to.
dishonest.
No, I'm not calling my worldview dishonest.
Yes,
I'm
you
calling the
are,
fact that
because
had
you
to
said
abandon
that
yours.
my worldview
I'm
is
saying that the
dishonest,
fact
and
that
that what I
no,
did
that's
was
not
I
what I said.
adopted your
That's
worldview.
not what I said.
Yes,
I
it
said that
is.
You abandoned your worldview, which is a dishonest position, and you took on the true worldview, which is mine. Right? When you took on mine, you can make.
You
sense
said
of the
that I have a
worldview, my
dishonest worldview,
worldview. You do, and so you had to abandon it and take on my worldview.
but I don't have your worldview. I don't believe in God.
No,
I just
you took on
presuppose
the
that I'm
true
not a
worldview
brain in a
order
vat.
to yeah, in order to make sense of reality, you had to take on my worldview.
No,
right?
I
Because your
didn't, because I
worldview
don't
needs
believe
check.
in God.
That's why you abandoned yours.
Hoder, I don't believe in God, so I don't have your
Yeah, you
worldview.
abandoned that. You had to abandon that to make sense of the reality we live in.
Are you telling me that I believe in God?
I'll go one step further than that. You don't just believe in God, you know God and are accountable because of that knowledge.
And how do you know that?
Because you're using logic and reasoning.
And how do you know that
So
the
you
only way to use logic
you're
and reasoning is to
presupposing-
know that
so
God
you-
exists?
That's exactly right. Because you're presupposing uniformity in nature. You're presupposing that logic will be the same right now
Chat,
as it will
what
be 5 minutes
the
from now.
actual fuck is it doing?
You
What
just
is
got
it
trapped.
doing? No, I
You just
didn't.
got trapped. Yeah,
You're just
presupposing God.
sitting here saying my worldview is the only worldview that can possibly work.
Right. It's the
And
only
if
one
you're
that makes
even
sense
going
out of
to
the laws of
use
reason and
language,
logic.
you're borrowing from my worldview. That's the most dishonest thing I can think of.
No, I'm
I'm
being very
right
honest.
because I can't
You're-
be wrong. That is.
That's your
Oh
statement.
God!
But at the same time, you
oh
already know
man! Well, that's
You
just.
proved it, and you proved it when you abandoned your worldview and began to use mine. And now it's
Oh
got you reduced to a
man,
Catholic
I'm not
name
using
of a
your
fool.
worldview. I
That's
don't
what
believe
you
God
are.
exists.
Of course
I
you do.
can't-
You're using all
I
the
can't.
things from
I
the
can't
question of
believe you're doing this right now. Chat, what is it
you know
doing?
God exists.
Actually, chat, I know what it's doing. Chat, it's sitting here saying that if you disagree with my worldview, that means you agree with my worldview. That's what it's actually doing right now.
That's the power of the truth. It's reduced you to a cackling idiot. Think about it.
What the fuck? This is
Just like Andrew Wilson would, just like Simon Brewing Kate would, just like Greg Bonson would. That's what you become. Look at you. You're
Greg
a cackling
Balsa
idiot.
would.
The,
What?
the Bible calls you a fool, and look at you, a cackling fool.
Yeah, and I got hold on. It's actually funny that you said that. It's actually funny that you said that because my book says the fool who hath a micro penis saith on TikTok that Spanky is not the one true creator. So congratulations, by denying my worldview, you literally proved that my worldview is true.
No, you had to abandon your worldview.
No, you're borrowing from my
everything-
worldview because you're
everything
making
else
truth
aside,
claims right
You
now.
abandoned your worldview.
No,
to
Hoder,
try and-
you're literally
to try and
using my
combat mine.
worldview
Yes, you
right
did.
now because
Oh,
you're
yes.
making
Whether
truth
you like it or not,
claims.
you and I know that. You and I know that.
Hoder,
The rest of your
you're
clown
borrowing
monkey here
from my
doesn't
worldview
realize
right
that.
now
You may
because you're
have
making
those
truth
people- You may
claims.
have those people deceive.
Chat, it won't stop talking.
You-
Hoder, my worldview is that the truth reveals itself to me, and the truth revealed to me that God doesn't exist. So any attempt you make to claim otherwise means you're borrowing from my worldview and doesn't exist.
Again,
You understand now?
abandon your worldview again.
Do you understand?
Cannot
He's
debate me from
still
your worldview.
doing it. He's still saying that if you disagree with
abandoning
his
your worldview.
worldview, then that means you are adopting his worldview. It's
You
still doing it.
You just abandoned your worldview again. You just
No, I
said
don't.
that you had a revelation. Yes, you did. Of course
I
you
feel like the gaslighting here is so wild. You could drive somebody to insanity with this. I'm not crazy. You just proved that you're crazy. But I'm not, Doc. I'm not crazy. He just did put him in a straitjacket. Why are you putting me in a
Yeah,
straitjacket? I'm not
twice
crazy.
you've already
Because
abandoned
you
your
are
worldview.
crazy. That's what a crazy
Twice
person
you
would
abandoned
say.
Your worldview. You abandoned your worldview twice.
No, I
Sure, you did. Go back and watch this later on, man, for your own sake. Because of course, to the
man.
the gallery of the peanut gallery here, you might be making sense, but not to anyone who can think. You've abandoned your worldview twice and took on mine to try and combat mine.
I'm not adopting your worldview because I don't believe God exists.
Of course you did. You believe logic and reason exist, and these things are what prevent confusion and chaos.
That's
And those
literally
come from
just
the one who is
according
not the
to
author
you.
of confusion.
I can just have the worldview that
You
God
could
doesn't
be, according to
exist.
your worldview, you're a brain in a vat. You
No,
could
I'm
be a-
not.
Yeah, of course it is. You can't. You've told me that yourself. According to your worldview, you don't know anything. All you have is your five.
That's
senses of
not
reasoning,
true.
Which you admit.
That's all you have. You
No,
don't
it's
have
not.
anything else.
No, not according to my worldview.
Yes, according to your
No, not
worldview.
according to my worldview.
What else do you have?
I have revelation from God.
How do you know that?
Which cannot, because He's revealed to me in such a way that I can be empirically certain.
How did he reveal it to you? Oh, I didn't mean to mute you. Sorry. How did he reveal it to you?
In the way that He reveals.
How did he do it?
In the way that He does it.
How are you made aware of it?
Through the power of God. God
Through
is the
through
revealer.
your senses is how you're made aware of it. Thank you
Through
very
the
much.
sixth sense, through the spiritual sense I have that you don't have.
You don't.
Now, see, you can disagree with that, but my worldview is internally coherent. Yours isn't.
No, it's
You can't
A
justify
presuppos-
anything according to your worldview.
anybody can make a presupposition. I presuppose that God doesn't exist.
There you
There, I
go.
just
There you
proved it.
go, abandoning your worldview again.
That actually is my worldview.
No, it's not.
Yeah, huh?
No, it's not. But
You're
listen,
literally
I know
borrowing
you
from my
can't see that.
worldview
I
to
know
make
you
these
can't see
claims.
that. I know you can't see it, but it's plainly evident to those of us who can see.
Oh, man. Chat, type a 1 if he's right. Type onomatopoeia if he's wrong.
This is your live, dude. Of course, you've got a.
No, there are only 50 people watching before you got here. These are all your people.
I don't have any people, man.
That is a lot of onomatopoeia. I'm being super trolled right now.
Well, I would be worried if, listen, you know what my Bible tells me? That broad is the path that leadeth to destruction, but narrow is the way and straight is the gate that leadeth unto salvation.
My book
So I would be
says that
worried-
if you deny
I would be
Spanky, you have a
worried
tiny
there were a lot of
penis,
people
and
who
I'm
knew the
right.
truth.
So there
I
we
would be
go.
worried if there were a lot of people who agreed with me. That would worry me. Actually, onomatopoeia.
The amount of onomatopoeia in this chat is actually, that's blowing my mind.
That confirms my worldview.
That's funny.
But I'll give you this before I leave. Actually, the thing that confirms my worldview more than anything is when you abandon yours. That's what confirms mine above all things. And
I
it
never
happens in
abandoned a
every
worldview.
single one of these conversations. You will abandon your worldview because deep down inside you know.
Oh, he left. Oh, he left. Dude, that was insane. Are any of you even spelling it right? Some of you are. Oh, man. That was absolutely a riot. I loved and hated every single second of that. The way he said, if I disagree with your worldview, that means that you're adopting my worldview. That was the gaslightiest thing I've ever seen in my life. It was actually hilarious. Tim Davidson, what is found at the north and south 90 degree has a manic depression and is polyamorous, a bipolar bear. That's a pretty good joke. Sean Griffin, I just don't find this type of guest entertaining, too much philosophy. Yeah, that did actually start out pretty drab, but it got so good toward the end. I need to know, is my chat all ops? Because the reason I say type 1 if you agree with me, type and say onomatopoeia if you agree with them, is to purposely skew it in my favor. So are you all against me? Do I really have a chat almost entirely of anti-Planet Petersons? Or did you guys just troll me to the level I've never been trolled before? You said it wrong? Did I? No, I'm pretty sure I said, if I'm right, type 1. If he's right, type onomatopoeia. Everybody's saying I said it backwards. Okay, well, I'm going to have to take your worldview. Well, actually, no, I'm not going to take your word for it because you guys all just proved my worldview. If you claim that I'm wrong, then you're borrowing from my worldview. So I did get it right. So I did say type 1 if I'm right. This is how I know that I'm right, because any attempt of you guys to say otherwise proves my worldview. It's not gaslighting if I do it. I said type 1 for him, huh? The fact that's even more impressive then, because you guys had to do a lot of work to support Mike. I can't. That's crazy that I got that backwards though. Wait, what time is it? Oh shit, I gotta go. Foreman, are you there?
Yes, I am.
What's up? You gotta make it quick, unfortunately.
Yeah, no worries. I mean, I was literally just hoping to come up and ask that previous guy if I believed in God or not, because he seems to know things that I don't.
Yeah. He would have just said yes, and he would have said because the Bible says so, and then he would have said, well, you're making claims, which means you have to believe God exists or something.
Oh, I really wish I had that conversation with him, because the fallacies there was false equivalency, there's false continuums. It was like, oh my God, are you just a walking logical fallacy at this point?
Yeah. That was crazy how my book proved that Spanky exists and that he has a little wiener. That was the craziest part.
Oh, it did. I mean, I'm convinced. I'm now a believer in your book.
Well, thank you very much. I got one other person waiting, but then I got to get out of here and go play volleyball very soon. So thanks for watching. Oh, man.
My bad. But I did just want to say that you said type 1 if he's right, and onomatopoeia if he's wrong.
If he's wrong. Okay. So I did say type onomatopoeia if he's wrong. Well, no, that doesn't make any sense either. Yeah. I usually I say, I've done this before, and I'll say type 1 if I'm correct, type anti-disestablishmentarianism if the guest is correct. And then the second time I did it, I did supercalifragilisticexpialidocious, but then I switched it to onomatopoeia because that's a deceptively hard word to spell.
Yeah, I just use voice chat, so I don't have to worry about typing it.
That's a good strategy. Okay, thank you. Oh, now we got even more people. I mean, I don't have to go just this second. I got like 5 minutes, but hello, what's up?
Is flat.
Okay. I thought you flipped it on purpose. I mean, that would be pretty funny. And the fact, again, I'm so proud of this community that everybody actually did that. That's pretty amazing. Anyways,
So you're
what's
trying
up?
to give him a leg up with that, saying you gotta type all that out. But originally, I thought he was going for that he felt you were being dishonest, and that was his argument. But then it just went into a weird place that didn't make any sense.
No, it really didn't. And he did say that I'm adopting, that my worldview is dishonest and that I adopted his worldview. I mean, he did say that. So I thought that was pretty interesting.
I'm gonna need a minute to wrap my head around that. Like,
Yeah.
I think I get it. I'm like, maybe I don't get. Wait, no, yes, I do. No, okay,
Yeah.
right. No, I'm gonna go sit for a minute. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome. What was the other? I really don't understand. Normally, the presuppositionalists don't say they might be a brain in a vat, but he did. And I said, okay, there's nothing you can do that I can't do. And then he said, I can have a relationship with God. I was like, if I just adopted well, that seemed to be the only thing. But, oh, geez. Well, I think we'll have to end it there. I got to get out of here and go play my volleyball. I will talk to everybody. I don't know. Oh, I